Survivor fans ready? Maybe not, as today CBS released its cast for Survivor Season 50, the much anticipated returnee season that they've been teasing us with for well over a year, and it's finally here. And the people, they've got some opinions. I'm Eric Rezsnyak, the host of the Great Pop Culture Debate. I am joined by Bob Erlenback, Great Pop Culture Debate panelist, producer, and Survivor superfan, and we're going to break down our thoughts on the Survivor 50 cast released today. We're going to do this by saying we would either buff them or snuff them. Buff means that we think that they're a good casting. Snuff means the tribe has spoken. We don't want to see them. Exactly. So we're going to start right in the beginning with Season 1 returnee Jenna, also known as Jenna Lewis Doherty, excuse me. Bob, is Jenna going to be a buff or a snuff for you?
I think I'm gonna give a snuff. I honestly don't remember a lot from Borneo. I watched it when it first aired, and that's where that ends. So I'm not that excited. Let me recognize she's a legend. She's from the original, all of those things. But I'm just not that excited for that.
Yeah, so Jenna has already come back once. She was on All Stars where she
True.
played third. My thing about Jenna is that I don't think of her as a particularly good player. I think she's just there. This to me feels like lazy casting. We wanted to have somebody from Borneo. There aren't that many opportunities or options left that can do it. Some of them have been to, prison. Some of them are dead.
Richard was busy.
He was busy. But it's I can't get excited about Jenna. Sorry to this woman. It's a snuff for me. Next, we're going to move on to Colby Donaldson, originally from season 2 of the Australian Outback, but returning 2 times after that for both All Stars and Heroes versus Villains. So this will be Colby's 4th time playing. Bob, is it a buff or snuff?
It's a snuff for me. He just fills that straight bro trope for Survivor, and there's not a lot of excitement for me around Colby. He's not like a game changer in my eyes. He's not somebody that tries to push forward the Survivor form or whatever you want to, the gameplay, so to speak. I get it. He's from one of the original seasons. He was very popular for those first 20 plus seasons, and people wanted to see him and wanted him back, but I'm just not sure what he's bringing this time. So maybe he'll surprise me though. Who knows? But it's a snuff for now.
Yeah, also snuff for me. We've seen Colby. Every time he plays, it's diminishing values. Do I think he's going to come back this time and shock me? Not particularly, no. The only good thing about Colby is him being here means that the rumor about Elizabeth Hasselbeck, his season
True.
2 castmate, is not here. And that is the only good thing.
I would take Colby over Elizabeth for sure.
100%. Elizabeth, if you're watching this, I hate your guts. So it's still a snuff for Colby for me. Next, it's Stephanie LaGrossa Kendrick, originally from Palau, then brought back for Guatemala, where she was a finalist, and then brought back again for Heroes versus Villains. Bob Erlenback, buff or snuff?
Total buff for me, I think. We haven't seen Stephanie in a very long time. Was it Heroes versus Villains was her last?
Yep, that
right?
was season 20.
So I think I'm all in if somebody wants to relocate their shoulder back into their socket again after having it dislocated during a challenge. But, I'm optimistic. I think that she was great television back then.
Yeah.
She always had some questionable comments about the language she would use sometimes, but I'm hoping she's grown from that. And I'll be excited to see what she's going to bring to the new era.
Yeah, of all the multi-returnees that we have, and there are many, Stephanie's the one that I'm the most excited about because I do think, again, it's been 30 seasons since she's been on Survivor. She's been on The Traitors since then, and I actually thought she was quite good on The Traitors season 1. I think that she's had a great arc so far in Survivor.
Absolutely.
I think she was kind of an afterthought in Heroes versus Villains, which it was brought to my attention again today, like, at the time of Palau and Guatemala, Stephanie was one of the most popular Survivor players ever.
True.
Hugely popular. So I'm actually okay with her coming back, even though this will be her 4th time. But it's a buff for me. Next, it's Cirie Fields, who has been, hold your breath, this will be her 5th season, Panama, Exile Island, Fans versus Favorites, Heroes versus Villains, and Game Changers. Bob, is it a buff or a snuff for Cirie?
I'm going to give her a buff, but I'm hoping that maybe she'll move on after this. I love Cirie. I think everybody loves Suri. She is probably one of the biggest legends that Survivor has. I always love seeing her play, and I get a little bit nervous having her play again now. And will she be as well received, and will she do as well as she did before, or will something happen that will start to diminish the way we remember her or think about her? Um, I love her. I think she's great. I'll be excited to see her, but yes, I'll give it a buff for now.
I'm gonna snuff it,
I know
honestly.
you are.
How can I miss you if you won't go away? I feel like Suri is, even though she hasn't been on Survivor since Game Changers, which is in the 30s,
Yeah.
she was on Big Brother. She's been on The Traitors, which she won. Like, I feel like she's constantly on my TV screen. And in my opinion, her going out in Game Changers, where basically she was voted
Defaulted
out
out.
without getting any votes, was such a
Defaulted out, yeah.
legendary, amazing swan song for her. I don't know what can possibly happen this time because I don't think she's going to win.
Other than winning, like what is left at this point for her?
Agreed.
Hmm.
Agreed. So that's my feeling on Suri, but she's back again. Speaking of back again, it's Ozzy Luth,
Snuff,
who
snuff, snuff.
also on
Sorry.
his fifth time playing Survivor, originally on Cook Islands, where he was the runner-up, then Fans versus Favorites, South Pacific, and Game Changers. Bob, I'm gonna guess you're to snuff.
Snuff. I did enjoy Ozzy at the time. I continued over his continued times on Survivor. I liked him less and less to the point where he just became this guy who felt entitled and thought that he should be winning and thought that he should be the one that was, being rewarded and being recognized. And there was some petulance to him that I didn't care for towards the end. Um, I just I just don't need to see it again.
You know those guys who graduate high school and stay in their hometown and just keep going to pick up the girls from high schools?
Yeah.
That's Ozzy on Survivor. It's a snuff. There's nothing more that you have to show to me. Like, I guess he could maybe do a redemption arc, and if so, good for him. But he's so
True.
tarnished at this point. Like, I don't want it. I'm sending it back. We already have. Well, I was gonna say we already have a big, beefy, muscular beach man, but we haven't gotten to him yet.
No.
I don't need Ozzy, so it's a snuff for me. Speaking of snuffs, it's Benjamin Coach Wade on his fourth time, having played in Tocantins or Tocantins. I don't know how you say it. Heroes versus
Tocantins?
Villains, South Pacific. Bob, is it buffer snuff for Coach for you?
It's a snuff. Somebody I never wanted to see on my screen again is probably Coach is up there in one of these Survivor players. Um, he's certainly chaotic to the franchise. He certainly brings certain feelings and emotions on both sides that people will have feelings and thoughts about. So I understand that from a casting perspective to bring some of that dramatic element to it. But do I want to see him again? No, I never enjoyed seeing him in the first place. I always was always frustrated by him, and I yeah, we'll leave it there. Snuff.
Snuff, total cringe. He's booked because he's like a proto meme. He's a walking meme. I don't think anyone takes him seriously as a Survivor player. I think he's there because he's TV. But, like, frankly, I don't think Coach's shtick is going to play at all with a modern
Agreed.
audience. I think people are
Agreed.
going to be looking at him and be like, this is actually really cringe. And it was cringe when we last saw him, I don't know, 15 seasons ago. I can't imagine it's going to age any better this time. So, gross. Cannot believe I have to deal with this again. Jeff Probst, why have you forsaken me? Snuff. Aubrey Bracco, back for her fourth time, which is crazy to me. Originally on Cow Wrong, where she was the runner-up, then Game Changers, then Edge of Extinction. Bob, buff or snuff?
I will give her a buff for this reason. I remember Aubrey. I recognize Aubrey. I remember nothing about her as a player. And I know that's weird because she played so much and she did pretty well for the most part, right? And I'm anxious to see her play because she's like a new player to me almost because I don't really remember a ton of her gameplay, which is weird. That I don't remember. So I'm happy to have her.
Can I, like, neither? I mean, honestly,
It's true.
it's an enough for me. Like, she almost won her first season. She very easily could have won it, and she played very well in Cow Wrong. I did not particularly think she was great in Game Changers, and in Edge of Extinction, she was flat out forgettable. She brought nothing to the table. So yeah, I don't like. There are so many other players that I would love to see get a shot, and the fact that Aubrey is back again, I'm just like, come on. I mean, she didn't even vote out her mother. You know what I mean? Come on. Next, it's Chrissy Hoffbeck, who is finally back for just her second time. She was originally in Healers versus Hustlers, where she was the runner-up. Bob, is it a buff or snuff for you?
Can I take the neither on this
You
one
could
this
take the
time?
neither if you want.
You and I were chatting about this, I think, earlier, but I don't remember her, period, let alone her gameplay, let alone her. I I guess she almost won her season
Yeah.
if she didn't have to go to fire making. Um, I just don't know what to make of her. I don't get excited, or I guess bring her along. I don't hate her.
I'm 100% buff for Chrissy. I'm super excited that she's here. She 100% could have won that season. Ben is one of my least favorite winners of all time. He's
100%.
exactly the type of winner that I can't with. And she played a really great strategic game. If memory serves, she started out by getting so exhausted that she vomited all over the like first challenge course. But she ended up playing a great game, and I'm really excited that she's finally getting her second chance at it. So total buff for me. On that same note, Christian Hubecki, black for his second time, originally on David versus Goliath, where he placed in seventh place. Bob, buff or snuff?
Total buff. Fan favorite. I think people love Christian, wanted him to come back. A great personality for Survivor. A trope we had never had before him. Um, some of what he filled as a player, I think, was really unique and new at the time, and I think people were really excited about the prospect of him coming back, and so am I.
100% buff. I think in my list of who do I want come back, Christian was at the top of my pre 40 players. He was a huge threat on David versus Goliath. People thought that if he got to that final three, he was for sure winning. And that's why they boxed him out when they did. I think he's actually in a really good position, if I'm being honest, because he played so long ago that his threat level is way lower than a lot of the legends and a lot of the newbies. So I think Christian's actually well poised here, and I'm really glad to see him
Sure,
back.
I agree.
Also, from David and Goliath, it's Angelina Keeley, our third place finisher. I'm Bob. I think you have some thoughts on Angelina.
So excited for this one, and I hope she brings the jacket.
I hope so.
Um, I rewatched the Natalie, may I have your jacket scene twice today. I watched it during my lunch break, and then when my roommate got home this evening, I'm like, we need to watch this. I need you to see this moment for her. Really excited. I think that she was really interesting and great on her first season, and I don't think she got a great deal of respect that
Sure.
she should have. I think people thought of her or treated her as a joke sometimes,
Yep. Absolutely.
including Mike White sometimes.
Yep.
So I want her to come back with a vengeance and do really well, and I think that she'd be a really interesting winner, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, Angelina climbed like 5 stories to get to that
Yes,
hidden idol, Bob.
that ladder. I completely forgot about the ladder.
I think she also is the person who initiated the bartering for rice. Did you know?
100%. I just watched that as well.
Yep.
She goes in with her opening offer of basically everything at the camp. And then Jeff is basically like, well, let me level with you. If one of you wants to step out, I'll give you guys rice, but I'll ration it.
Yeah.
So I watched that again today too.
Yeah. It's a total buff for me. Angelina is chaos, but she also genuinely changed the game in a couple different
It's
ways.
true.
So glad to see her back. Also, from David and Goliath, a whopping third player, it's Mike White, back for his second time. Bob, buff or snuff?
I'll give it a buff for sure. Excited to see him back. Don't know how long or how far he will go in. There's two different schools of thought that I've been seeing out there. They'll get rid of him immediately because he doesn't need it, or they'll keep him around because they want to get cast on White Lotus.
Yep.
But he was a lot of fun on his first season. Like, he was an interesting personality, an interesting character. He never took it all too seriously. I think he was there to truly study the game, study people, and just have fun. And that's refreshing to see in a player, is somebody who's just approaching it from a, hey, this is going to be fun and let's do this. So I hope that he's going to have a good run, and I'm excited to see him back.
Yeah, I think Jeff Probst must have been creaming his pants when Mike White was just like, "Yeah, I'll come back. That sounds like a hoot." Like,
Especially because he's between seasons right now
right,
with
right.
White Lotus. Like, HBO is probably looking at their watch like, what's going to happen here,
We don't
folks?
have 2 months for you to be on vacation, yo.
It's true.
Yeah, yeah. But listen, it's a total buff for me. I think it's frankly the best get of the group, and I have no idea what's going to
100%.
happen with Mike. But it's going to be a lark to watch. He could go out, like he could get to the beach and be like, "Lol, I'm gone," and it would still be hilarious. It would be
Just hang
hilarious.
out at Ponderosa,
Yeah,
writing the script for season four, three, four,
four.
four.
Exactly. On the other side of the equation, we have Rick Devens back for the first time after Edge of Extinction. Bob, Buffer Snuff.
Snuff. Do I have to talk about him?
No, you don't. Nope, I completely get it. I
Not
will.
interested.
I will also
Boring.
snuff him. I can't fucking stand Rick Devens. The funny thing is this: prior to his initial elimination on Edge of Extinction, I was totally like, yeah, go. I liked Evans. Then he came back and he had such a fucking attitude and he was so entitled and insufferable. The man sucked every atom of oxygen out of the room, which is probably why he failed at fire making. But like, I just couldn't. The attitude and the condescension, it just, he went from being a fan favorite to just absolutely like obnoxious in the span of a season, which I guess is kind of amazing, but at the same time, I don't want it again. And you know he's going to come in here all
You
cock of
don't
the
want it.
walk. I don't want it. I don't want it. It's a boot for me, and it's a snuff. Next, it's Jonathan Young. Speaking of things I do want, Jonathan is back for his first returning season. He's from Survivor 42, where he placed fourth. Bob, is it a buff or snuff?
I'll give it a buff. I'm excited to see him play again. Challenge beast that we've never seen before.
Yeah.
Um, Not a ton of personality going on. He has personality. He is a
Yeah.
person,
Yeah.
but he didn't make a big splash in that regard for me as a character. Um, but really fun to watch from a challenge perspective. So they definitely need something like that in the mix.
Yeah, I'm sure that both Ozzy and Colby will be compared
True.
to Jonathan because they were the former Golden Gods and Jonathan's our current one. But like Jonathan single fucking handedly won reward challenges for his
Yep.
entire team. Like that's not
Yep.
an exaggeration. So I am very excited. I mean, I say buff, but nothing is more buff than Jonathan, right?
Operation Meat Shield.
I'm here for it. Also, things I'm here for. Emily Flippin from Survivor 45 in seventh place. Bob Buffer Snuff.
Um, at the beginning of her original season, snuff, but by the end of her original season, buff. She's a buff. Bring her back. She is a lot of fun to watch. Her journey was so incredible to watch. Her self-discovery was so incredible to watch. Like, say what you will or say what people will about new Survivor, right? And people have a lot of opinions about it. The stories that it has brought us about people since it came back after 40 has been incredible, and the journeys and the arcs that we've seen for people has been incredible. I don't think we saw it at that level previously.
Yeah.
We saw them play out amongst each other within the tribes, but these are life arcs for some people
Mm-hmm.
in the modern Survivor, and it's a lot of fun to watch. And she was a lot of fun to watch. You really needed to cut her early on. You're like, guys, what are we doing? Get rid of
Yep.
her.
Yep.
But by the end, you're just like, she's great.
Yep. Yeah. One of the most compelling arcs within a season I've ever seen on Survivor.
That's
Uh,
true.
like a disastrous start to her game, disastrous, and she turned it around to the point where when she eventually got eliminated on that season, I was just like, I'm not sure I really care who wins now. I was rooting for her, so
Hmm.
I have no idea what her game is going to be like. I have no idea, like coming in with that level of self awareness, how that changes her gameplay. But she's going to be really fascinating to watch. So I'm super
True.
excited. She's back. One of our returning winners, D. Valardar D from season 45. Bob, is it a snuff or a buff?
Um, I'm going to give it a snuff. And I will for somebody later on the list as well. I think they're great players, but I don't think that bringing winners back right now is the right move. But I also just think they're going to be targets, and they're probably going to get snuffed themselves. Their torches will get snuffed pretty quickly,
Yeah.
if the tribe is smart. Um, so I maybe I'm in the middle again on this one. I just don't want to see returning winners just yet.
Yeah, no, I'm right with you. I'm going to snap it as well. Dee's great. Dee's a great winner. Dee was a dominant winner on what I think is one of the least competitive seasons of the
True.
new era. I'll be curious to see how she plays with other people who are actually players. But that being said, I don't want to see, given the limited number of slots, I really don't need to see winners back again when there are any number of players who deserve a second shot. And I agree with you. I don't see any reality in which Dee is able to make it deep into this game. She's not a Sandra. She's not someone who people are going to discount. They're going to see that she's a huge threat and they're going to take her out. So
Yep.
for me, it feels like someone else could have gotten another shot and been a more interesting player in this game. This is my thought.
Oh, let's say anyone from 20 to 29, season
Right.
20 to 29, because there is none.
None.
There are some 20s, I think just 20, season 20, but then 21 on, with the exception of a returnee season. I
Right.
think Ozzy was on like 23 or something like that, but actual new players from those run of episodes, there's
No.
nobody on this list.
Yep.
Weird.
Crazy. Crazy. Uh, Q Burdette from season 46. Bob's it a buff or snuff?
That is a snuff. That is a snuff. Talk about somebody who every single week it was, guys, you need to take the shot at Q. Like, he needs to go. Somebody who blows smoke, says nothing, thinks he's saying everything, but actually saying nothing. Didn't really contribute much to anything, um, other than the noise. I just am not interested.
Don't hate me, Bob. I'm buffing it. I think it's great.
Okay,
I think he is a
that's
chaos
fine.
goblin. I think he's
True.
wild. Of the other ones that were cast not to be serious threats, but to be good television, Q is the one I'm the most interested about because Q is entertaining.
True. If I had the choice between Q and Rome, I guess I'm
Oh my god.
taking Q.
If I had the choice between Q or Rome, I'd throw myself off a bridge. But like Q, like I'm 100% here for Q on this season. I think he's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited to see what happens.
Okay, I can
So,
see it, I guess.
someone who I know you're excited to see back is Charlie Davis from season 46, the runner up, or as you believe, the actual rightful winner.
Yeah, we have three winners this season, and he's one of them. Um, I'm excited that he is back. Our little Swifty is back for more. And I think that look, it is a game, and it's played, and people vote, and that's what happens. So I'm not going to be like, oh, you should have voted this way or that way. Like, people vote for who they want to vote for, and that's how we've ended up in the world that we've ended up in currently.
Uh-huh.
But I really think that he did get a little bit of a raw deal from the jury in the end. I think that he was the legitimate winner, at least the strongest game from that season. And I'm not saying the other two did not have great games. I'm just saying that I think he was the strongest, and I think somehow votes got skewed in different directions, and he just
Maria.
some Maria. Let's just say it. It's Maria.
It's Maria.
So
Yeah.
it was Maria.
So
So
he's a buff for you.
oh, 100%.
Yeah. I think Charlie's great. I think I'm so excited he's back. He's exactly the type of person I would like to see back for this show. And I hope that he comes in with the Taylor Swift Reputation era vibes of look what you made me do and burns this mother down. That's what I hope.
It's Survivor, Charlie's version.
Exactly. There you go. Next from Survivor 46 as well, for reasons, it's Tiffany Irvin. Bob, is it a buff or is it a snuff?
I'll give her the buff. I don't mind Tiffany. I'm totally fine to see her back. Was she a super memorable player that was like, that's the one I need back? Not when you have like Carolyn sitting there, you have Carson
Uh-huh.
sitting there,
Uh-huh.
you have a number of other folks that are sitting there. But I'm not objecting to her being there, so maybe I'm just in the middle. It's a meh.
Yeah. No, I agree. Like her, like I don't object to Tiffany. She's fine. Early season, I thought she was going to be a real player, and then
True.
she just kind of went like she was one in like a string of people that went home with idols in their pockets back to back to back. And
Yeah.
again, there's so many players. I think I saw something. Is it 700 people have played Survivor? Is that accurate?
750-ish.
Okay.
It's crazy.
This is one of the 24 slots. I don't see that. I don't.
It's true.
So, so beautiful gowns. Good for her.
Well, half of these slots clearly were intended to go to 41 through 49, right?
100.
So there's going to be multiples, but even within that, you've got Jesse, you've got Carla, you've
Yeah.
got even Xander for that
Yeah.
matter. You've got some really great players out there, and I think she was great to a certain point, as you mentioned, but unremarkable at this point in the game.
I think she was decent to a certain point.
Yes.
I would never say she was great. But someone who was great, Genevieve Mushaluk, who was in Survivor 47th, fifth place. Bob, is it buff or snuff?
Total buff, love it. If we want to talk about poutine more, let's do it. She needs to talk about poutine. Um, Love her, great strategy player, really high threat level on her season. There was this weird Rachel Genevieve, like basically the two of them acting like, well, this is our season now, and one of us is going to win this. That kind of turned everybody off and turned the audience off a little bit, I think. But she had the goods to back it up. She was a very good player and very strategic and calculating throughout, and saved herself multiple times throughout that season to negotiate her way to the top. So excited to see her back. And if the rest of the tribe is smart, they need to see Genevieve for the threat that she's going to be.
100%. She's a total buff. Of the players, she's the one that I'm most excited to see back. Motherfest is here. But she is a huge threat. And
Yes.
she's going to have to really hope she's on a good starting tribe that
And
gets
she's
her
going to want it.
protected. Yeah. Because you pointed out that this season kind of ended up being Rachel versus Genevieve is the only real answers. But the fact was, it was Rachel versus Genevieve, and those are the only two answers because they were both A-plus players, and either one of them could have won. I hope that Genevieve is not smoked early because she is, to me, I think, one of the best players of at least the last 10 seasons to not win. So I'm excited to see her back. Speaking of winners, though, it's Kyle Frazier, the winner of Survivor 48. Bob, is it buff or snuff?
I'm going to snuff it because, again, winners. He's a great winner, though.
Yeah.
And that final tribal that at the recording that we are right now, a week ago, that final
Delicious.
tribal where it was Joe and Eva telling us about some game that they were playing, and then Kyle over here saying, well, this is actually the game that was happening.
Yeah.
Was amazing, well executed. I was nervous in the early part of his tribal where he was not doing so well with his ability to debate his candidacy. But boy, did he come out swinging in the end with basically like, hold on one second, that's not at all what happened.
Yep.
Loved that moment for him, but again, a winner this early back on this first, again, the 24 slots that you have for your first returnee season in 10 seasons
Yep.
is going to go to a winner. I just don't see it right now. Although he was a great winner, and it's also too recent.
Yep. Agreed. For me, for all those reasons, that's a snuff. We'll see you on Winners at War 2 in season 60. And I think he'd actually do quite well there because I think he is a great winner. Also from season 48, for reasons, it's Joe Hunter. Bob, buff or snuff?
It's a snuff for me. I was bored by Joe through most of his season, and I will say this, I will be anxious to see his brand of gameplay amongst this mix of players with the loyalty and the honor and the sticking by one another and all of those pieces. It'll be interesting to see how that plays. But as a recent social media and just icon out there right now says, that's interesting, but I'm not interested.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Totally agree. Snuff. I thought that Joe was one of the most boring parts of a pretty boring season. And the fact that Jeff Probst loves season 48 so much is really disturbing to me because it shows me that you are not at all tapped into what this fandom actually wants. I don't care about some bullshit honor code. This is Survivor, honey. This is not Extreme Makeover Home Edition. Like, I don't care. And so I was bored by him in his season. I hope to be delighted as he's bamboozled and bullied around by actual people playing Survivor, as opposed to the knitting circle that was Survivor 48, where we all just sat around and being like, well, we know who's going to win. We'll just sit here and get picked off one by one, Mitch. It's not, no, boot.
Hmm.
On the other hand, Camilla, I'm not going to try to say Camilla's last name, also from season 48. Bob, is it a boot or is it a,
It,
it's not a boot. Is it a buff or a snuff?
it's a buff, 100%, because she needs her opportunity that, Kyle got the opportunity this time. She needs the opportunity this time. What a great pair of players, and each equally deserving in their own right, even though they were playing together. They had legitimate resume reasons to be able to defend their reason for winning. It's just they, meaning Kyle, obviously, for those listening at home, they were the most clear-eyed players I've seen played this game in a really long time. Like,
Uh-huh.
they knew exactly what was needed to win. They knew they couldn't sit next to each other, and they were totally accepting of that. And we're like, guys, we're going to go for this, but one of us will be there and one of us won't, and that's fine. That is so clear-eyed playing of, if you can't be there, I want you there, and I'm gonna boost you up to win this thing. Incredible pair, and Camilla basically helped win that season for Kyle by saying, hold on one second, let me ask Kyle a question.
Yep.
And can you tell me what happened, Kyle?
And I
So,
think Kyle would have done the exact same thing for Camilla if Camilla.
100%.
Yeah, no, I agree. Total buff for me. I love Camilla. I early on was just like, she's a really interesting player and I need to watch her. And I thought that she had a great run. I thought the fire making was an absolute tragedy, but there's no fire making apparently in Survivor
Yes.
50, so I'm excited
That's
about
what we're
that.
that's what we're learning.
We love that. I think she's amazing, and I think she will not be a huge threat. And I think she could go deep in this game. I really do. So
True.
I'm super excited to see that. In addition to the 22 that we mentioned, there are additionally 2 players from season 49 who we have yet to
Snuff.
snuff. I agree. I was saying to Bob earlier that the problem with having players who have not yet had their season airing is they have a tremendous unfair advantage over the rest of these players who they're on the beach with right now. Everybody else knows how everybody else has played. Everybody else.
Yep.
They have no idea who these 2 people are and what they do. The same thing happened in Heroes versus Villains with Russell Hantz. The downside for them, however, is that they also will have just come from filming their original season. They will be exhausted. They will be depleted. So that
Hmm.
also may work against them. But
One of the interesting things I thought about, maybe interesting, I doubt this would happen, but will there be some weird twist in 49 where they're not actually being voted off? They're actually being voted to go to season 50.
maybe. Who
It's
knows? Who knows?
possible.
It's possible. We'll see. But I think it's ludicrous that we are getting 2 players, from a season that hasn't even aired yet. Uh, Again, we have so many great players who are not
We've got
included.
sugar. Was was Colton busy? I'll take Colton.
No, you don't. Don't speak that into the universe.
Okay.
But like, we'll just wrap this up by saying that I want to speak for Bob, but personally, we've been waiting for this cast for a very long time. People have been asking for a returnee season. I understand that you want to have it split between the post 40 and the pre 40 people. I get it. I just think it's such a lazy casting job that most of the pre 40 people are all people who have been here numerous times. And I
Hmm.
think being so uneven in the distribution of the post 40 players, uh, were people saying no? Is that what was going on? Because from a viewer standpoint, this is not what I was hoping for. Bob,
This is not it. Not this.
not this, not this. That being said, we will be watching Survivor 50 when it
Yeah.
debuts
I'm
in.
excited for it. I get
Yeah,
it. It's not the cast that we wanted,
right.
but I'm excited for it.
Maybe it's the cast we deserved, right?
Maybe. This is
Maybe.
democracy at
It's
work.
exactly.
Yes. Yeah. Newsflash, everyone. Everything's terrible.
Everything terrible, including your Survivor 50 cast. With that being said, who are you excited to see back for Survivor 50? Who do you wish had made it onto the cast for Survivor 50? And more importantly, who do you think's going to win? Bob, who do you think's going to win?
Um, Ooh, that's a great question. I'm gonna give it to Suri.
All right, go for it. I'm going to give it to Christian. I think he's going to be completely invisible for the first half of this game. So,
Actually, I'll
there,
give it to Charlie now that we're saying
okay,
this.
love
I'll
it.
give it to Charlie.
So that's what we have. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to our channel. We're going to be making more original content as we go on this year. We thank you so much for watching. And remember, everyone is entitled to their wrong opinions, including the casting people for Survivor.
Including us on this episode.